You've maxed out your 401k, you're contributing to an IRA, and making some other investments. You're ahead of the game and doing well. But where do you go from here? The same old story can only get you so far. If you want a new take from a new type of financial professional, we invite you to get a fresh perspective beside an agent with the backing of New York Life. Insurance, investments, retirement, and more. Visit nyl.com to learn more. Investments are offered through registered representatives of NyLife Securities, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC, a New York Life company.
Today on CityCast Madison. It's Thursday, so of course we're dishing on Madison's food scene. At a time when many organizations are cutting back on diversity, equity, and inclusion, this local nonprofit is doubling down on their mission: food access for all. Rooted is an urban farming hub that serves thousands of Madisonians each year, and they've got new leadership to bolster their efforts. State Representative Francesca Hong is their new board president. To learn about this new chapter, we sat down with Francesca and Rooted's co-executive director, Hetty Rudd. It's Thursday, March 6th. I'm Bianca Martin, and here's what Madison's talking about. Hi, Representative Francesca Hong.
Hello, Bianca.
And Hetty Rudd. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
All right, y'all. The spring equinox is just 2 weeks away, so it feels like the perfect time to talk about what is growing, metaphorically, over at Rooted. Fran, you've recently stepped into the role of board president with Rooted. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so excited and honored to be in this role.
Well, from the outside, this seems like a pretty obvious fit for you. You're a former service worker and restaurant owner, and food access has been a part of your work at the state capitol. In fact, you recently introduced a bill to reimburse schools that provide free meals to all their students. So why take on this new role at Rooted?
I've had a special place for Rooted, I would say, for 6 or 7 years. I've seen them grow partnerships with other organizations committed to equitable food access and enhancing and improving our food systems. I've seen them serve our young people and empowering students across the city to have them really understand what it means to support growers, to get their hands in the dirt and be a part of urban agriculture. But I think most of all, what Rooted means to me is, Hetty actually mentioned this the other day, but it helps me feel rooted and feel like this is my home. And I think that's one of the most important parts of Rooted, is that they help members in our community feel rooted in their community and in their homes.
I love it so much. Hetty, you're the co-executive director. For folks who don't know, Rooted is an urban farming hub that does many things. So folks might even know your work and not know it's y'all. So Hetty, can you describe for us Rooted's role in the community here in Madison?
Thanks for saying that, because that is so true. Let me just say, it's a good problem to have. But having opportunities like this to tell the story are even better. I joined Rooted when it was Center for Resilient Cities through Badger Rock Neighborhood Center. So one of the many things we do is we are home to the Badger Rock Neighborhood Center, the Badger Rock Urban Farm, which connects with Badger Rock Middle School. So, when I think about our work, I think about the neighborhood center side of it. But then there's also the farm on the north side and the work that we're doing there.
Troy Farms.
Yep, Troy Farm. Yep, and connecting with our neighbors on the north side, all of the community centers that are there, and then also the Madison School Farm, which is located on the same land where Kennedy Heights Elementary School is. And then also the Community Gardens Network, which takes us all across Madison. So our hands are in a lot of dirt across Madison alongside of the community.
Yeah. And I mean, it's just one of the most beautiful things, y'all's focus on equitable land access for underserved communities. And exciting news, Troy Farms is bringing back their CSA after a season-long break. Woo!
Yes.
Very welcome news to your CSA devotees. I know a few of them, and they are so thrilled. Why did y'all take a break, and how did you decide to come back?
Trying to explore what's important to the community. After the pandemic, we switched, from a lot of the work that we were doing to getting food to the community at low to no cost. And so that just seemed like a calling. It seemed like what we were supposed to do. And then we were also wanting to get more people on the land, to really experience and get their hands in the grass, touching grass. And so we thought, hey, let's take a break and let's focus on growing food for our community and our neighbors and getting people on the land. And also the financial pressures. Farming isn't like the most profitable thing in the world, but it's definitely really super important, especially local food access. So we kind of took a break to explore if that was something we could do. The funding, however, didn't follow. So being the practical people we are and wanting to continue the work that we were doing, we said we need to bring the CSA back. And obviously, like you said, there's a lot of people that are happy for that. And so we get to be the best of both worlds in that sense. So we'll still grow food for our neighbors to the extent that we can and still offer the CSA to the larger population.
Yeah. And, as you noted, you bring people to the farm. Folks can actually, who have the CSA, come and pick their own veggies. So there's that sort of customer choice there that I think is unique that I hadn't heard about when I think of CSAs. So that's a beautiful thing. And you're talking about, obviously there's some financial pressures. A big news story broke last week that might impact y'all, I imagine. The Cap Times reported last week that a $500,000 federal grant awarded to Fair Share CSA Coalition has been canceled. I know that Troy Farms is a part of that coalition. Are y'all being affected by that grant cancellation?
Not directly, in the sense that that grant didn't affect Fair Share's ability to supplement the CSA shares that we partner with them on, but it does affect Fair Share's ability to get the word out to BIPOC communities, to other underserved communities. So the people who know about the CSA and have the ability and means to pay for it, of course, they're going to probably still be there, but it's the folks that we've been trying harder to reach that may not get access to that information because of that grant funding loss.
Yeah. In the USDA letter informing Fair Share of the grant termination, it said their programming, quote, no longer effectuates agencies' priorities regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and activities. Fran, is it just a hard time to be an equitable farmer right now?
Honestly, I think if CSA's grant was called Red, White, and Blue, they wouldn't be in this position. I think one of the beautiful parts about that CSA program is the fact that there was a farmer advisory board. And folks always underestimate how difficult actually it is to have the infrastructure for farmers to participate in a farm-to-table program. Too many people in the community not only don't have access to these amazing foods that our farmers are growing, but it's often inaccessible due to cost. And so, in a time where we really need to be uplifting the people growing our food and everyone needs food, it's really reprehensible that this current administration would choose to sever these connections that CSA were building up between farmers and consumers. And so my hope is that there will be folks in the community that continue to prioritize food systems and be a part of the root community and the CSAs that are under Fair Share, because that's truly how we're going to be able to get through this. And so as much as these times are about divisions and distractions and, oligarchy, I believe in community power, and there is so much community power in food systems and uplifting the folks who are directly involved in that.
This episode is brought to you by Peacock. The new Peacock original documentary, Matthew Perry, A Hollywood Tragedy, dives deep into the beloved actor's rise to fame and his tragic death. 5 people, including Perry's personal assistant, 2 medical doctors, and an alleged Hollywood drug dealer known as the Ketamine Queen, were charged with conspiracy to illegally provide Perry with the ketamine. Explore the details of the case in this heartbreaking special, streaming now only on Peacock.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile, with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
I do want to ask, considering, what we're seeing around equity and diversity efforts, getting these cutbacks in the federal government and rippling out into every sector, has Rooted considered scaling back on diversity at all?
No, not at all. We're not going to stop doing what we do. We will continue to be there on behalf of our community, and that's everybody in our community, and it's always been that way. But, we're not going to scrub our website or do all of the things that would make the people that we serve feel that we're not there for them. We will just continue to hope, as Fran said, that our community will come through for us and allow us to continue to do this work that's really important. I think when you think about today's world and everyone's reliance on their phones and on social media, getting kids outside and getting kids touching the grass, as I said before, and being together. If there's ever been a time when that's going to be important, it's now. And that's what we do, is we provide that space. We provide opportunity to break bread and be together and just celebrate, who we are. I feel kind of like this is going to sound crazy, but our work is like to stop idiocracy from becoming real.
One of the most beautiful parts about Rooted are the amazing staff who are committed to equity. And honestly, I think one of the reasons why a lot of the people in the community may not know about how amazing the programming is because that humility is just like innate within the staff. They are too busy working with some of our most underserved communities to really be able to talk and brag about it. And I think that the commitment to equity is what makes our program strong. And I think that this is Rooted's opportunity to show leadership in the community, that we need to have courage in standing up for the values, the core values that make these great organizations across the city that are committed to food systems work.
And I know you, Francesca, I know I call you Fran. I'm calling you Francesca now because I'm talking about you as a state legislator. You're not someone who steps away from a fight. You're a very vocal politician in our area. I did want to ask you what it feels like stepping into this role with food access in this particular political climate.
It gives me sanctuary. It keeps me grounded. I think, within these dumb marble halls where there's so much ugliness that comes from Republican lawmakers who are choosing to do harm instead of improve lives, being a part of the Rooted board, learning so much from the staff, and meeting community members who are building connections and relationships with Rooted actually helps me become a better legislator in these incredibly volatile and obscene times. All legislators, I think, need to be organizers, and Rooted helps me be a better organizer because there is so much relationship building with the community.
How are you thinking about longevity at this moment? It seems like there's a lot of changes coming to Rooted, and it's really exciting. How are you thinking about, in these next few years, while there is a more challenging political climate and funding is still a challenge, making those next steps or these next few years and going strong?
Well, bringing on, a new board leadership has been a huge part of that. We're really thankful for the foundation that our original board, the Center for Resilient Cities Board and Community Groundworks Board, that they laid, that Joe Sensenbrenner laid by really putting a lot of his effort into building the space that we have at Bedrock. But we hired Cass Hansen as our development director this year.
A wonderful woman.
Yes.
Amongst wonderful women.
Hallelujah for that. We love Cass. She's just done a great job. And she's really been great at helping us to think about fundraising in today's time, digital fundraising, and just really exploring different alternative ways of fundraising for the organization. And then also, our hope is that people will take some time to get to know us more, as Fran said, so that we can start to reach those folks who maybe never knew who we are. And as you said too earlier, there's so many people who don't know that Rooted is touching them. There's so many school gardens across Madison that we have staff and volunteers that are inside of those schools working with kids, reaching them with a carrot and, helping them to, like I said, touch grass and have fun. We just want people to know that we're there and who we are and what it is that we're doing. So we have some pretty exciting stuff coming up. And I just have to put a plug in for the big one, which is coming in May 24th. We're going to be doing Farm to School Aid at Troy Farm. So it's a concert kind of like in the vein of Farm aid.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, so Erica Krug, got to give a shout out to her. She's one of our staff members, and her partner is a musician. And so she's gathering some musicians to come together on May 24th at Troy Farm. And we're going to raise funds for our Farm to School program.
Raise the roof.
Yes.
Do you know any of the musicians who will be playing or at this point?
I know for sure that Erica's partner, Don Walkner, is going to be performing, and Chris Plata.
We'll definitely put that event in our show notes so people can check it out.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah. That's a really exciting event. And I wanted to ask you both about recommendations in general for someone and kids who want to have more of a hands-on approach to their food. What tips do you have for that?
Participating and volunteering with our youth right now, whether it's at the school farm over by Kennedy School, there's a beautiful garden at Lapham Elementary, and obviously the urban farm that's at Badger Rock. And I think community spaces where we gather, again, over, celebrating food and eating delicious food. We have great community dinners at Badger Rock on Fridays, and we feature local chefs and talk about the work that Rooted is doing. And so volunteering at some of these great community spaces, reaching out and seeing what folks can do over at Troy Farm. One of the ways that you can access more of our programming and understanding more is becoming a monthly donor and getting our newsletters and really seeing also the community members that we've already built relationships with and how, especially in these times, we need to lean into collaboration and partnerships and trusted relationship building to kind of build that resilience around our food systems and what's possible when we come together.
Yeah. And definitely follow us on social media. Rooted has a page where we keep track of things that we're up to. And then Badger Rock Neighborhood Center has its own page because it's a neighborhood center. It has its own little community and own events and things that are happening at the neighborhood center level. And we are on Blue Sky and Insta.
Okay. They're on Blue Sky.
And one more, we have Troy Farm produce at different schools and markets, the Northside Farmers Market as well. So if you'd like to purchase delicious Troy Farm produce directly, you can find us in community spaces as well.
And folks want to get that fresh food. You got to go to the market and support.
Badger Rock will have a market in the spring at the Badger Rock Neighborhood Center. So follow the Badger Rock Neighborhood Center Facebook page for more information about that.
Y'all have a bounty. It's verdant. It's lush. You guys are so lovely. And I'm so excited that we had the time to talk to you about what is growing at Rooted. Fran, Hetty, thank you so much for making the time today.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yes, thank you.
That's Hetty Rudd, co-executive director of Rooted, and State Representative Francesca Hong, Rooted's new board of directors president. If you want to learn more about their upcoming events or how to support their work, head to our show notes for a link. That's all for today, here on CityCast Madison. I'm Bianca Martin, your host. If you enjoyed the show, want to share this episode with someone who does urban farming. And yes, those windowsill herbs count. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more stories from around the city. Until then, take good care and eat well.